My name is Gwen Yoder. I'm 38 years old, and 3 months ago, my mother threw 2 sleeping bags at me and my 6-year-old daughter and told us to sleep on the floor. My sister's family got the guest room, the one with the queen bed and the nightlight my daughter loves. My kids got a patch of cold hardwood in the living room, and when I looked at my mother's face, I didn't see cruelty. I saw something worse. I saw someone who genuinely did not understand why this was a problem. That night, I packed my children into the car at 11 o'clock and drove 3 hours home. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I just stopped. Stopped paying. Stopped organizing. Stopped being the invisible spine of my family. 3 days later, my mom's phone lit up with calls she couldn't answer because the answers all pointed back to me. Before I take you back to that Thanksgiving night, please take a moment to like and subscribe and drop your location and local time in the comments. I'd love to know where you're listening from. Now let me take you back to last November, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. We pulled into Ridgewood at 4:15 on a Wednesday. 3 hours of highway, 2 gas station stops, and 1 screaming match between Lily and Owen over a juice box. Marcus parked behind Mom's Buick, and I sat there for a second staring at the house I grew up in. Same sagging porch, same crooked mailbox Dad never fixed, same yellow light in the kitchen window. I popped the trunk. 3 grocery bags, turkey, sweet potatoes, cranberry sauce, and 2 pies I'd baked the night before. Marcus grabbed the suitcases. Lily ran ahead to the door, already calling for Grandma. Mom opened the door with a hug for Lily and a nod for me. You made good time. Traffic wasn't bad. I set the grocery bags on the counter. The kitchen smelled like lemon cleaner and old coffee. That's when I noticed the dining table. 6 chairs. I counted them twice. My family is 4. Mom is 1. Denise's family is 5. That's 10 people, 6 chairs. Mom, where's the extra seating? She waved a hand. We'll figure it out. I carried our suitcase upstairs, turned left toward the guest room, and stopped. The door was open. Inside, a blow-up mattress on the floor, freshly made with Denise's green comforter. Denise's overnight bag sat on the dresser. Her kids' backpacks were lined up against the wall. They weren't here yet, but their things were already claiming the room. I looked at the guest bed, queen mattress, clean sheets, the little star nightlight Lily asks about every visit, still plugged into the wall beside the headboard. I went back downstairs. Mom, is Denise getting the guest room? She was rinsing a pot, didn't turn around. We'll talk about it when everyone's here, Guinevere. She used my full name. She only does that when she's already made a decision and doesn't want to discuss it. Denise arrived at 6:30 with Kevin and the kids. Mom met them at the door like royalty was visiting. She hugged Denise first, held her for a full 5 seconds, kissed each grandchild on the forehead, and waved at Kevin. Then she took Denise's hand and led her upstairs. I set up the guest room just the way you like it. I was standing in the hallway holding Owen. Denise walked past me without a word. Her daughter Madison bumped my elbow and didn't look up from her phone. 15 minutes later, I found Mom in the linen closet. Mom, where are we sleeping? She reached to the back of the shelf and pulled out 2 rolled-up sleeping bags, blue nylon, probably from Denise's Girl Scout days. She held them out to me the way you'd hand someone a parking ticket. Your sister's family gets the guest room. You can sleep on the floor in the living room. It'll be fine. I stared at the sleeping bags, then I stared at her. Mom, Lily is 6, Owen is 4. Kids love sleeping bags. It's like camping. Lily tugged my sleeve. Mommy, are we camping inside? From the top of the stairs came Denise's voice. Should have booked a hotel. She was leaning on the railing, arms crossed, smiling. Kevin stood behind her, looking at the floor. I took the sleeping bags. I don't know why. Muscle memory, maybe. 12 years of taking whatever was handed to me and saying thank you. Marcus appeared at the end of the hall. He looked at the sleeping bags in my hands, then at me. His jaw tightened, but he said nothing. He'd learned a long time ago that fighting my family was my decision to make, not his. He was right. And that night, I'd finally make it. Let me take you back 8 years. Different hospital, different kind of cold. My father, Richard Yoder, lay in a bed at Ridgewood Memorial with a tube in his chest and 3 weeks left. Lung cancer, stage 4. He was 56 and looked 80. I was 30, newly married. Marcus and I had driven down the moment Mom called. Denise wasn't there. She had a migraine. Dad held my hand with fingers that felt like paper. His voice came out in pieces, like a radio losing signal. "Gwen, your mother and your sister, they're not built like you." "Dad, don't. Promise me you'll take care of them. The house, the bills. Your mother doesn't know how to manage any of it. And Denise?" He trailed off. We both knew what Denise was. "I promise." He squeezed my hand. "You're the strong one, Gwen. You always have been." I held his hand until he fell asleep. Then I went to the parking lot and sat in my car and cried for 45 minutes. I was 30 years old, and my dying father had just handed me a family like a second mortgage. He passed 3 weeks later. Denise made it to the funeral, sat in the front row, wept so hard 2 ushers had to help her out. Mom held Denise the entire service. I gave the eulogy. After the burial, I sat at Dad's desk and opened his file cabinet. No life insurance. Mortgage balance, $94,000. Property tax, $4,200 a year. Mom's Social Security, $1,400 a month. The math didn't work, so I made it work. $800 a month, automatic transfer, first of every month. I was 30 years old, and I didn't think about how long "take care of them" was supposed to last. 12 years. That's how long. I should tell you about the box. When my grandmother passed, Dad's mother, Irene Yoder, she left behind a ruby ring. Victorian setting, hand-cut stone, passed down 3 generations. Grandma Irene wore it every Sunday to church. Mom gave it to Denise. She needs something beautiful right now. She's going through such a hard time. Denise's hard time that year was a kitchen she didn't like. Mom handed me the ring box. Empty. Brown leather, velvet lining, brass hinge. "The box is nice too, Gwen." She meant it as a consolation. I kept it as a reminder. Then there was Lily's first piano recital. 6 months of practice. "Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star," with 3 wrong notes and the biggest smile you've ever seen. Mom promised she'd be there. Morning of. "Denise can't drive at night, and Madison needs shoes for the school dance. I have to take her. We'll catch the next one, honey." There was no next one. Lily quit piano 2 months later. Every Christmas, I cooked, I cleaned, I decorated, I bought gifts for everyone, including Denise's kids. Denise arrived 2 hours late with a gas station candle and fell asleep on the couch by 9 o'clock. Mom's annual assessment. "Let your sister rest. She's had a rough year." Every year was a rough year. 15 consecutive rough years, and every year I gave a little more. Paid for Braden's travel baseball, covered Haley's Girl Scout fees, sent money for Madison's braces, filed Mom's taxes, hired the snow removal guy, fixed the leak in the upstairs bathroom. I kept a spreadsheet. I'm a financial analyst. Numbers are how I make sense of the world. I didn't keep it to hold over anyone. I kept it for taxes, but the numbers told a story I wasn't ready to hear. Thanksgiving dinner. I'd been cooking since 6 o'clock that morning. Turkey, 2 kinds of stuffing, green bean casserole, mashed potatoes, sweet potato pie, cranberry sauce from scratch. Denise brought a bag of Hawaiian rolls from the gas station on Route 33. Mom set the table. Denise to her right, the good chair, the one with armrests, Kevin across from Denise, Braden, Madison, and Haley in a row, me at the far end, near the wall, squeezed between Owen's booster seat and the door frame. Lily didn't have a chair. Mom had set up a folding stool, the kind you use to reach high shelves. Marcus caught my eye. I shook my head. "Not now." Mom clasped her hands. "Before we eat, I want to say how thankful I am." She smiled at Denise. "Thankful that my oldest drove all this way to be with us. Thankful for these beautiful grandchildren." She named each of Denise's kids. She talked about Denise's strength during a challenging year. She did not mention Lily. She did not mention Owen. She did not mention who cooked the meal she was about to eat. Silence. Then forks. Halfway through dinner, Braden, Denise's oldest, 14, looked up from his plate. "Aunt Gwen, you made all this, right?" The table stopped. "She sure did," Marcus said. Mom reached for the cranberry sauce. "Who wants seconds?" Denise leaned toward Kevin, voice pitched just loud enough. "I mean, anyone can roast a turkey. It's not exactly complicated." Lily, on her step stool, whispered to me, "Mommy, why didn't Grandma say our names?" I put my hand on her knee under the table. "Eat your potatoes, baby." It was the only answer I had, and it was the last time it would be enough. 9:30. I was at the sink, up to my elbows in dish soap, same as every year. The turkey pan had a ring of burnt drippings I couldn't scrub out. Marcus came in and closed the kitchen door behind him. "Gwen, if you're going to tell me to let it go..." Lily asked me something. I turned off the faucet. She asked me what? Why Grandma doesn't like us. The sponge slipped out of my hand. She said that? Word for word. She asked if we did something wrong because she's sleeping on the floor and her cousins have a bed. "Marcus, it's one night." He didn't raise his voice. Marcus never raises his voice. That's what makes it worse. "Gwen, your kids are kneeling on the floor. Look at that sentence. Read it back to yourself. That's all you need to know." I stared at him. Then I looked through the kitchen doorway. Lily was in the living room, on her hands and knees, trying to unroll the sleeping bag on the hardwood. The nylon kept sliding. She'd smooth one end and the other would curl up. Owen had already given up and was asleep on the couch, curled into a ball, no blanket. Denise was upstairs in the guest room with the door closed. I could hear the TV through the ceiling. Mom was in her recliner reading. Nobody looked at my daughter. Nobody helped. Something in my chest shifted, not cracked. That came later. Shifted, like a foundation settling before it splits. "Marcus." "Yeah. Get the car seats ready." He didn't ask a single question. He just walked out the back door. I heard the trunk open. I dried my hands on the dish towel and folded it once, twice, 3 times. Set it on the counter, lined it up with the edge. Then I went to get my children. I moved quietly. Upstairs, suitcase zipped, toiletries swept into the bag, Lily's stuffed rabbit, Owen's blanket. Everything in 2 minutes. I'd spent my whole life being efficient for this family. One last time. Marcus carried Owen. I took Lily's hand. She was half asleep, dragging her feet. We were at the front door when Mom's voice came from the hallway. "What are you doing? It's almost midnight, Guinevere." "We're going home." "You're leaving? Over a sleeping bag?" Denise appeared on the stairs in her pajamas, arms folded. "Oh, here we go. The dramatic exit." I zipped Lily's coat, pulled her hood up. Mom stepped closer. "This is ridiculous. You're overreacting." I looked at her, calm, clear. And I said something I'd been holding for 8 years. "Mom, the last time you asked how I was doing, not what I could do for you, but how I was Dad's funeral, 8 years ago." The hallway went silent. Even Denise uncrossed her arms. Mom opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. "That's not true." "Name the time." "Nothing." That's what I thought. I picked up Lily and walked out the front door. The November air hit my face, cold and clean. Marcus had the car running, headlights on. I buckled Lily into her seat. She blinked up at me. "Are we camping somewhere else, Mommy?" "No, baby. We're going home. Our home." I closed her door, walked around to the passenger side, didn't look back. I didn't slam the door. I closed it gently, like closing a chapter. And by the silence behind us, no footsteps on the porch, no voice calling after us, I knew they'd already gone back inside. That's how little my leaving mattered to them. At least, that's what they thought. 3 hours on a dark highway. Owen didn't wake up once. Lily stirred near Zanesville and asked for water. Marcus handed her a juice box from the console without a word. He'd packed snacks before we left the house. He always packed snacks. That's Marcus. My phone buzzed at 11:40. Mom. I let it ring. 11:50. Mom again. Midnight, Denise. A text. Way to ruin Thanksgiving for everyone. I turned the phone face down on my lap. Somewhere past Newark, I opened my laptop. Passenger seat. Screen dimmed so it wouldn't wake the kids. I pulled up the spreadsheet, the one I kept for tax purposes. Joint account disbursements, categorized by recipient. I scrolled to the summary tab. Mortgage supplement, $800 per month for 144 months, $1,152. Property tax, $4,200 per year for 12 years, $500–400. Denise's kids, baseball, braces, camp fees, school supplies, $18,000 and change. Emergency transfers, birthday parties, roof repair, the furnace, Kevin's medical bills that weren't actually medical bills. Total, $118,400. Exposed to the blue light of a laptop screen at 1 o'clock in the morning on a highway in Ohio. Marcus glanced over. He'd seen the number before. He'd accepted it the way you accept weather, as something that just was. "What are you going to do?" he asked. "I'm going to stop." "Everything?" I looked in the rearview mirror. Lily's face, slack with sleep, cheek pressed against the window, hair falling over her eyes. "Everything." He nodded once, kept driving. I had a party to cancel, a mortgage to stop paying, and a lifetime of being the foundation to step away from. I was terrified. Not of what I'd lose, but of who I'd be without the weight. Friday morning, the day after Thanksgiving. The house was quiet. Lily was in the backyard pushing Owen on the tire swing Marcus hung last spring. I could see them through the kitchen window, coats zipped, breath making little clouds. I sat at the table with my laptop, a cup of coffee, and a legal pad. I wrote the list by hand first, the way I do with anything important. 1. Cancel auto pay, mortgage supplement, effective January 1st, 30 days notice. 2. Cancel venue reservation, Ridgewood Country Club, January 4th, Mom's 65th birthday party, 80 guests. 3. Cancel catering, floral, DJ, photographer. 4. Withdraw Madison and Haley's summer camp registrations. 5. Cancel the Outer Banks rental for July. 6 items, clean, orderly. The kind of list I made every day at work. I stared at item 2 the longest. I'd been planning that party for 6 months, called in favors with the country club manager, designed the invitations myself. Ivory cardstock, gold foil lettering. You are invited to celebrate Patricia Yoder's 65th birthday. 80 of those invitations were sitting on 80 kitchen counters across Ridgewood right now. My name was printed at the bottom as host. I opened a new email, typed, deleted, typed again, deleted. The third draft was short, no emotion, just information. Mom, effective January 1st, I will no longer be supplementing your mortgage payment or covering property taxes. I'm giving you 30 days notice so you can make alternative arrangements. I'm also canceling the birthday celebration. The venue will contact you directly. Gwen. Marcus came in with 2 mugs, set one beside me. You okay? No, but I will be. He kissed the top of my head and went back outside. I saved the email as a draft. I wasn't ready to send it yet, but I was ready to stop pretending. 14 years earlier, Denise's wedding. I was 24, maid of honor, standing in a church bathroom hemming Denise's dress with safety pins because she'd gained weight and refused to get it altered. It's your job to fix this, Gwen. That's what maids of honor do. I paid for the bridesmaid dresses, all 4 of them. Denise picked silk, $400 each. I'll pay you back. She never did. When the florist bill came in $2,000 over budget, Denise called me crying. Kevin's family already thinks I'm trash. I can't have cheap flowers at my own wedding. I wrote the check. The reception was at the Elks Lodge off Route 50. Twinkle lights, rented linens, a DJ who played Unchained Melody 3 times. Mom gave a toast. She talked for 6 minutes about Denise's journey, about Denise's beautiful spirit, about how proud she was of Denise for finding her person. She lifted her glass. Everyone drank. I was standing 2 feet away. She didn't say my name once. After the last dance, I found Mom at the bar. You didn't mention me in your speech. She patted my arm. Oh, honey, it was Denise's day. Don't make it about you. I was 24. I believed her. I thought love was something you earned by being quiet and useful and asking for nothing. That night at the hotel, Marcus, we'd been dating 6 months, sat on the edge of the bed and said, "Are you okay?" I lied. "I'm fine." He looked at me the way he does when he knows I'm lying but decides to wait. He's been waiting 14 years, and he's never once said, "I told you so." That alone tells you everything about the man I married. 4 years ago, my phone rang at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday night. Denise, sobbing. Kevin fell off scaffolding at the job site. His back. He can't work. The bills are already piling up and I don't know what to do. $12,000. That's what she needed. Medical bills, mortgage, groceries for 3 months while Kevin recovered. I transferred it in 48 hours. Didn't consult Marcus. Didn't negotiate a repayment plan. My sister called crying, and I moved $12,000 like it was a dinner reservation. 3 months later, I was scrolling Facebook, something I rarely do, and there it was. Denise's kitchen. New granite countertops. Subway tile backsplash. Stainless steel range hood. She'd posted an album. New year, new kitchen, so blessed. The post had 47 likes. Mom commented, "Gorgeous, sweetie. You deserve this." Kevin went back to work after 6 weeks. Not 3 months, 6 weeks. The $12,000 wasn't for medical bills. It was for a kitchen remodel. I called Mom. Denise used the money I sent to redo her kitchen. "Oh, honey, she probably just mixed things up. You know how Denise is with money." "Mom, she lied to me for $12,000. Don't use that word. She's your sister." That's my mother's operating system. The truth is negotiable when it threatens the family image. I never got the money back. I never brought it up with Denise. She never mentioned it either, just posted photos of her new kitchen like the cash fell from the sky. And here's the part that should have broken me then, but didn't break me until now. Denise knew I knew. She just didn't think it mattered, because in my family, asking for what you're owed is worse than stealing. Monday morning after Thanksgiving, 9 o'clock sharp. I called the Ridgewood Country Club. "Good morning. This is Gwen Yoder. I'm the host for Patricia Yoder's 65th birthday celebration on January 4th. I need to cancel." Pause. "Ma'am, are you sure? We've already ordered the linens. The centerpieces are in production." "I'm sure. Please refund whatever you can to the card on file." "That's all right. I'll process the cancellation today. We can refund 60% of the deposit. The rest is non-refundable per the contract." "I understand." Next call, the caterer. $6,500. Gone. Then the florist, $2,200. The DJ, $800. The photographer, $1,500. Each call took less than 5 minutes. Each one, my voice got steadier. The hardest call was the bakery. I'd ordered a 3-tier vanilla cake with buttercream and sugar peonies, Mom's favorite flour. The woman at the counter knew me by name. "Gwen, honey, is everything all right?" "Change of plans. I need to cancel the cake for January 4th. "Oh no, your mom is going to be so disappointed." "I know." 80 invitations, gold foil on ivory. My name at the bottom, hosted by Guinevere Yoder. They were already on refrigerators, bulletin boards, mantles across Ridgewood. People had bought outfits, cleared their calendars. And the venue coordinator, I asked one thing before hanging up. "When you send the cancellation confirmation, can you email it to my mother, Patricia Yoder? She should hear it from you." "Oh, we usually send it to the cardholder." "Send it to both." I hung up and sat there for a long time. The invitations were breadcrumbs, 80 of them, and every single one led back to me. That afternoon, I logged into my bank account and opened the recurring transfers. There it was, $800, first of every month, to First Federal Savings Mortgage Account, ending in 4471. Patricia Yoder, borrower. Guinevere Yoder, supplemental payer. 144 transfers, 12 years. I'd set it up 2 weeks after Dad's funeral and never missed a payment, not once. Not when Lily was born, not when Owen spent a week in the NICU, not when Marcus was between contracts and we ate rice and frozen vegetables for a month. I clicked Cancel Recurring Transfer, effective January 1st. The screen asked, "Are you sure you want to cancel this payment?" I was sure. Next, property tax. I'd been paying it annually, $4,200, mailed directly to the Meigs County Treasurer. I pulled the pre-addressed envelope from my desk drawer and threw it in the recycling bin. Then I opened the email draft. I read it one more time. "Mom, effective January 1st, I will no longer be supplementing your mortgage payment or covering property taxes. I'm giving you 30 days notice so you can make alternative arrangements. I'm also canceling the birthday celebration. The venue will contact you directly. Gwen." No accusations, no inventory of wrongs, just facts. The kind of language I use in quarterly reports. My hand hovered over send. I could feel my heartbeat in my fingertip. Marcus walked through the room. He didn't say anything, just rested his hand on my shoulder as he passed, like touching a fence post to make sure it's still standing. I pressed send. The email left my outbox at 2:47 p.m. on a Monday in November, and I felt something I hadn't expected. Not relief, not guilt, quiet, like the house after a long alarm finally stops. Wednesday, 2 days after I sent the email, my phone lit up with a wall of text from Denise, all caps. Did you seriously cancel Madison and Haley's summer camp spots? Those had a wait list, Gwen. A wait list. What is wrong with you? I set the phone on the counter and went back to folding laundry. It buzzed again and again. Mom is crying because of you. Are you happy now? Is this what Dad would have wanted? She called 5 times between 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock. I watched each call ring through, her name pulsing on the screen like a heartbeat. Then she texted Marcus. Tell your wife to stop being selfish and fix this before she destroys the whole family. Marcus looked at his phone, showed it to me, and set it face down on the table. Want me to respond? No. One more text from Denise, the longest one. You're punishing Mom because of a sleeping bag? Grow up, Guinevere. You always do this. You always make everything about you. Some of us can't afford to throw money around like it makes us a good person. Some of us actually show up for Mom instead of buying our way in. I read it twice. There it was, the blade she always used, the implication that my money was a substitute for love, that giving was buying, that 12 years of showing up with groceries and checks and my bare hands wasn't enough because I also happened to have a salary. She'd been saying versions of this my entire life, and for the first time, it didn't land. It just sat on the screen like a sentence with no weight. I put the phone down, walked into the playroom, sat on the floor with Lily, and built a Lego castle until dinner. I want to pause here for a second because right now some of you are thinking, she's right to cancel everything. And some of you are thinking, it's just a sleeping bag. She's overreacting. That's exactly the argument my family used for 38 years. So let me ask you something. If you're the one who always pays, always plans, always shows up, when was the last time someone showed up for you? Drop it in the comments. Let's talk about it. Thursday, 1 week after Thanksgiving. Mom called. I almost didn't answer, but I needed to hear what she'd say. Not to decide anything, but to know. Guinevere, the venue called me. They said the party's canceled. Is this true? Yes. Do you have any idea how embarrassing this is? I already told everyone, 80 people. I know, I sent the invitations. A pause, then the shift. I could hear it in her breath, the moment she switched from anger to the weapon that always worked. Your father would be so disappointed in you. I closed my eyes. 5 seconds of silence. I counted them. Dad asked me to take care of you. He didn't ask you to mistreat my children. When did I ever mistreat your children? Tuesday night, floor, sleeping bags. Lily asked Marcus if Grandma doesn't like us. That's ridiculous. She was fine. Kids are resilient. She's 6, Mom. She's not fine, and neither am I. Not anymore. So you're going to humiliate me in front of the entire town because of one night? One night is what you saw. I've been here for 12 years. Meaning what? Meaning the mortgage payment you'll be short starting January. Meaning the property tax bill you've never once written a check for. Meaning every holiday I cooked, every crisis I funded, every time I drove 3 hours and asked for nothing except a bed for my kids. I never asked you to do any of that. And there it was. 8 words. The truest thing she'd ever said to me. She never asked. She just expected. And I just delivered. You're right, Mom. You never asked. And I never should have waited for you to. She hung up. I set the phone down and noticed my hands were steady. 6 months before Thanksgiving. Lily's 6th birthday. Purple streamers, a butterfly cake, 12 kids from her kindergarten class running through our backyard. Mom promised she'd come. 3-hour drive. I'd made the same drive 100 times for her. The morning of the party, my phone rang at 8 o'clock. Gwen, honey, Denise isn't feeling well, and I just don't feel right leaving her alone. We'll do something for Lily next time. You understand? I understood. I always understood. That was my role. The one who understood. Lily stood at the front window for the first hour of her own party. Every time a car turned onto our street, she pressed her face against the glass. Is that Grandma? Not yet, baby. Is she lost? She just had something come up. Is it because of Aunt Denise? I didn't answer that one. By noon, Lily stopped asking. She didn't cry. She just walked away from the window and went to play with her friends. And that quiet turning, a 6-year-old learning not to expect, was worse than any tantrum. Tantrums mean you still believe someone will come. Silence means you've already learned they won't. Marcus found me in the kitchen, hands on the counter, staring at the wall. Look at her face, Gwen. Please, look at her face. Lily was laughing again, running, smearing frosting on her dress. She was fine, but she hadn't asked about Grandma once since noon. I stood at that counter and felt something move. The first tremor, not anger, deeper than anger. The slow-motion start of a goodbye I hadn't said yet. My daughter stopped waiting at 6. I was 37, still waiting, still at the window. That birthday was in May. By November, I was done. 10 days after Thanksgiving, Ridgewood is the kind of town where news travels on foot. 8,000 people, one grocery store, one post office, and a church where everybody knows your maiden name. Aunt Colleen told me what happened next. Ruth Myers, Mom's closest friend from church, sits with her every Sunday, third pew from the front, called Mom on a Tuesday evening. Pat, I just got a voicemail from the country club. Something about a cancellation for your birthday celebration. What's going on? Mom tried the first version. Oh, we decided to do something smaller this year. Just family. Smaller? Pat, I got an invitation on gold cardstock. You invited 80 people. Next call, Nancy Walsh from Mom's Bible study. Same question. Mom adjusted the story. Gwen had a scheduling conflict with work. Then Deborah Clements, then Sandy Price, then 2 women from the garden club. Every time the story shifted. Scheduling conflict, budget issue, family decision. But here's the thing about 80 invitations. They don't disappear. They're on refrigerators, pinned to corkboards, propped against kitchen windowsills. And every one of them says, hosted by Guinevere Yoder, in gold foil at the bottom. People didn't just wonder about the party. They wondered about the host. Mrs. Henderson, our neighbor of 30 years, the one who brought casseroles when Dad was sick, texted me directly. Honey, I heard about the party. Is everything okay with your mom? I wrote back, you'd have to ask her, Mrs. Henderson. 4 words, polite, complete, and enough to tell Linda Henderson that the story she was getting from Pat wasn't the whole story. In a town like Ridgewood, a gap in a story is louder than the story itself. And this gap was getting louder by the day. 2 weeks after Thanksgiving, Saturday morning, I was making pancakes when the doorbell rang. Denise, on my porch, 3-hour drive. Eyes red, the careful kind of red, like she'd cried in the car for the last 5 minutes to get the look right. We need to talk. I stepped aside. You drove 3 hours. Come in. She sat at my kitchen table, the same table where I'd sent the email, and folded her hands like she was at a job interview. You're destroying this family over a sleeping bag, Gwen. It wasn't a sleeping bag, Denise. It was 12 years. She switched to the victim script. Do you know how hard my life is? Kevin barely makes enough to... You remodeled your kitchen with the emergency money I sent you. Her mouth closed. $12,000 for medical bills. Granite countertops and a range hood. She recovered fast. Denise always recovers fast. Dad would be ashamed of you right now. Dad asked me to take care of you. He didn't ask you to take advantage of me. She tried one more angle. If you don't fix this, Mom will never forgive you. Mom never forgave me for being the one who didn't need her. That's not something I can fix. Denise stared at me. Then the mask slipped. Not to sadness, but to the thing underneath it. You think you're better than us because you have money. I think I'm worth more than a sleeping bag on a cold floor, and so are my kids. She stood up. The chair scraped against the tile. She grabbed her purse. You'll regret this. Maybe, but I won't regret it on a hardwood floor. She slammed the front door hard enough to rattle the windows. I wiped down the table and finished making pancakes. That evening, after Denise left and the kids were in bed, my phone buzzed with a number I almost didn't recognize. Kevin. Gwen, this is Kevin. I just want to say I see it. I've always seen it. I'm sorry I never said anything. I read the text 3 times. Kevin Caldwell, electrician, quiet, eats with his head down, married to my sister for 15 years, and I could count on one hand the number of times he'd texted me directly. I typed back, "Thank you, Kevin. Take care of yourself." 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. "Denise doesn't know I'm texting you. Please don't tell her." I sat with that for a minute. A man in his own home hiding a text to his sister-in-law, afraid of his wife finding out he said something kind. Then one more message. "For what it's worth, Braden told me at dinner that he wished he could have gone home with you guys on Thanksgiving." That's when I broke. Not a dramatic collapse, not a scene. I just sat on the couch and tears came, one after another, quiet, like a faucet someone forgot to shut off. Marcus sat down beside me. He didn't ask what happened, didn't reach for the phone, just sat close enough that I could feel his shoulder against mine. I cried for 7 minutes. I know because the clock on the cable box said 9:14 when I started and 9:21 when I stopped. It wasn't grief. It wasn't anger. It was the particular ache of being seen by someone you didn't expect after a lifetime of being invisible to the people who should have looked first. "Braden wished he could come home with us," I whispered. Marcus was quiet. Then, "That kid's going to be okay." "Yeah, I think so too." First week of December, the mortgage company sent the notice. Mom's payment for December was $800 short. For the first time in 12 years, the supplement didn't hit. A letter arrived at her house, one of those thin envelopes that mean trouble. She called me 4 times in one day. Voicemail 1, 10:32 a.m. "Guinevere, call me back. There's something wrong with the house payment." Voicemail 2, 1:15 p.m. "This is serious. I'm going to lose the house if this isn't fixed." Voicemail 3, 5:40 p.m. "Are you really going to let your mother lose her home? Is that who you are now?" Voicemail 4, 11:48 p.m. This one was different. No anger, no script, just a voice I barely recognized, smaller than I'd ever heard it. "Gwen, please." I listened to that one twice, sitting on the edge of my bed, Marcus asleep, the house dark. That single word, please, pressed against something old and deep in me. But then I heard it clearly. Her first 3 messages were about money, the house, the bill, her reputation, her comfort. The 4th was, please. In 12 years, this was the first time she'd said it to me. And it was about a payment. Not about Lily sleeping on the floor, not about the birthday she'd never asked me to plan, not about me, about $800. I put the phone down and called Aunt Colleen. She picked up on the first ring. "I was wondering when you'd call," she said. "Has Mom talked to you?" "Oh, honey, she's talked to everyone. Come Sunday, she'll be talking to the Lord himself." Despite everything, I almost smiled. "Colleen, am I wrong?" She was quiet for exactly 2 seconds. "You're 12 years late. That's the only thing wrong about it." Colleen Brennan is my mother's younger sister by 3 years. She lives in Dayton, teaches high school English, drinks black coffee, and has never told a comfortable lie in her life. Growing up, she was the aunt who slipped me books and said, "Read this. Don't tell your mother." She told me what happened when Mom called her. "Your mother was furious, said you canceled everything and you're being selfish, that you're abandoning her." "What did you say?" I said, "Pat, that girl has been carrying this family on her back for 12 years, and you gave her a sleeping bag." She hung up on me. I laughed, the short, empty kind. Then Colleen said something I'll carry for the rest of my life. "Gwen, your mom doesn't favor Denise because she loves Denise more. She favors Denise because Denise threatens to leave. Your sister has been holding that exit door open for 40 years. I won't come for Christmas. Don't expect me at Thanksgiving. Your mother, widowed, scared, in that big house alone, folds every time. And you? You never threatened to leave, not once. And your mother learned that loyalty without consequences is the easiest thing in the world to exploit." I was quiet. "So you had to stop being easy," she said. "I had to stop being free." Colleen told me one more thing. "Your mother's been telling people you canceled the party because of work stress. She's editing the story, but here's the problem. 80 invitations went out with your name on them. People are doing the math. She also confirmed what I needed to hear. Mom's Social Security covers basic expenses. She has savings. She won't lose the house. She'll have to budget, downsize maybe, but she won't be on the street. I wasn't pushing her off a cliff. I was letting go of the rope I'd been pulling her up with. Mid-December, I flew to Indianapolis for a 2-day client meeting, the kind where you turn your phone off because a distraction could cost you the account. I turned it off Monday morning and forgot about it until Tuesday night at the hotel. When I powered it back on, the screen filled up like a slot machine. 98 missed calls. Mom, 34. Denise, 22. Numbers from the 740 area code I didn't recognize, 19. Ruth Myers, 4. Church friends, 4 more. Kevin, 3. Aunt Colleen, 2. Cousin Eddie, 5. Others I couldn't even place. I sat on the hotel bed and scrolled. Colleen's text came first. The town knows. Your mom tried to throw a small potluck to replace the party. Nobody showed because they thought the big event was still on for January 4th. Now everyone's asking questions she can't answer. Then Mom's latest voicemail. The voice was unrecognizable, stripped, thin, the sound of a woman whose walls had just come down around her. Guinevere, I don't know what to do. Ruth asked me point blank if you were paying for everything, and I couldn't. I couldn't lie anymore. She told the women's group after the service, everyone knows about the mortgage, the taxes, all of it. Please, please call me. I played it again. Ruth asked me point blank. I couldn't lie anymore. Not, I'm sorry. Not, I was wrong. I couldn't lie anymore. As if truth were something that happened to her, like weather. I put the phone down and stared at the ceiling. 80 invitations with my name on the bottom, a canceled venue, a mother who told different lies to different people until the math stopped adding up. I didn't blow the whistle, I just stopped playing the music. And when the music stopped, everyone could hear the silence. Colleen told me the rest. Sunday morning, Ridgewood Community Church. Mom walked in the way she always did. Navy dress, pearl earrings, Bible under her arm, third pew from the front. Ruth's seat was next to hers. Ruth nodded, didn't smile. Nancy Walsh sat one row back, didn't lean over to whisper the way she usually did. Deborah Clements looked up, then looked away. The service was about gratitude. Mom sat through the whole thing staring at the hymnal. After the benediction, the parking lot. That's where it happened. Linda Henderson walked up. She'd lived next door to my parents for 30 years. She brought casseroles when Dad was dying. She'd known me since I was in pigtails. Pat, I talked to Gwen. She told me to ask you. So I'm asking, is it true that she's been paying your mortgage, your taxes, organizing your parties, and you put her kids on the floor at Thanksgiving? Mom's face went still. Linda, it's not that simple. It sounds pretty simple to me. That girl drove 3 hours with a car full of groceries to cook your Thanksgiving dinner, and you made her children sleep on the floor so Denise could have the bed. Other women slowed down near their cars, listening, not hiding it. Mom said nothing. I've known you 40 years, Patricia, and I never once knew your daughter was keeping the lights on. Linda walked to her car, closed the door, pulled away. Mom stood in the parking lot, alone, her Bible still under her arm. Colleen was parked 3 rows back, watching. She called me that afternoon. I'm telling you this so you know the truth came out. You didn't have to say a word, Gwen. You never had to. I closed my eyes. I know. That's the part that hurts the most. Weekend before Christmas, doorbell at noon. Mom on my porch, 3 hours from Ridgewood, hair pulled back, no earrings, the old corduroy coat she wears when she's not trying to impress anyone. Can we talk like adults? I let her in. Marcus took the kids to the backyard without being asked. We sat at the kitchen table, same table, different war. She started where she always starts. The whole town is talking about me. I know. Is that what you wanted? To humiliate me? No, I wanted you to see me. I've always seen you. You've always used me, Mom. She flinched. You see my checkbook. You see my oven. You see my car pulling up with groceries, but you don't see me. You never ask how I'm doing. You never check on Lily. You never call on a Tuesday just to talk. That's not fair. I stood up, walked to the bedroom, came back with the box. Brown leather, velvet lining, brass hinge, empty. I set it on the table between us. You gave Denise Grandma's ring, and you gave me this, and you said, "The box is nice too, Gwen." You missed Lily's recital for Madison's shoes. You made my children sleep on the floor, and in 12 years, you never once said thank you. Not once. She stared at the box. "I didn't think you needed me to," she said, quiet, almost a whisper. "That's the problem, Mom. You decided I didn't need anything, and you were wrong." The kitchen was silent. The clock on the wall ticked. Outside, I could hear Lily laughing on the swing. Mom reached for the box, turned it over in her hands, ran her thumb along the hinge. "I gave Denise the ring because she needed something. You always had everything together." Having everything together is not the same as having everything. She held the box like it weighed something now, like she finally understood what it had always meant. "I kept it for 8 years," I said. "Not because I wanted the ring, because that box is the most honest thing you've ever given me. Empty. And you thought it was enough." Her chin trembled. Not the performative kind, the kind that comes before the kind of crying you can't control. "Gwen, I held this family together with my bare hands, Mom. I paid your mortgage. I paid your taxes. I cooked every holiday. I funded every emergency. I planned your birthday party. 6 months, 80 guests, $3,000. And the thank you I got was a sleeping bag on a cold floor, while Denise laughed from the stairs." She was crying now. Real crying. Shoulders shaking. No sound at first, then a ragged inhale that broke the silence wide open. I didn't move to comfort her. Not this time. I'd spent 12 years absorbing other people's pain. This pain was hers to sit with. "What do I do?" she asked, voice cracked. "Start by looking at Lily the way you look at Madison. Start there." She wiped her eyes with both hands, looked at me, really looked, maybe for the first time in a decade. "I love you, Mom. I've always loved you, but I can't keep setting myself on fire to keep you warm. That's not love. That's just burning." She nodded, didn't argue, didn't deflect, just nodded. Something shifted in the room. Not forgiveness. That's not something you hand over in a kitchen on a Saturday. But acknowledgement. A crack in the wall she'd built, wide enough for light. The empty box sat between us, still empty. But the silence around it had changed. She stood up slowly, like her body had gotten older in the last hour. "I need to go home. I need to think." I walked her to the door. She put on her coat, buttoned it wrong, then fixed it. At the threshold, she stopped, turned. "Gwen, the sleeping bags. I knew it was wrong when I did it. I just told myself you'd be okay, because you're always okay." "I know, Mom. I don't know how to fix this." "You can start by not asking Denise what to do about it." Something flickered in her eyes. Surprise, maybe, that I knew her that well. Then she nodded. No hug, no, "I love you," no dramatic reconciliation on the porch. She just walked to her car, got in, and sat there for a full minute before turning the key. I watched her pull away. Taillights fading down our street, left at the stop sign, gone. Marcus came through the back door. He stood behind me, one hand on my shoulder. Was I too hard? "You were 12 years too gentle." I leaned into him, closed my eyes. Lily's voice from the hallway. "Mommy, was that Grandma? Is she coming for Christmas?" I turned around and crouched down to her eye level, brushed the hair off her forehead. "I don't know yet, baby, but wherever we are on Christmas, we'll have beds. I promise you that." She grinned. "Can I have the star nightlight?" "You already have one. Daddy bought it for you, remember?" "Oh, yeah." She ran back to her room. Marcus and I stood in the doorway, cold air coming in, the street quiet. Mom drove 3 hours back to Ridgewood alone. I don't know what she thought about on that drive, but I know what was waiting for her when she got home, an empty guest room and the echo of a question she couldn't answer. The week before Christmas, the second domino fell, but this one wasn't mine. Colleen called on a Thursday night. "Kevin told Denise he wants a trial separation." I set down my coffee. "Kevin?" "He went to your mom's house and told her first. Said he'd been unhappy for years but didn't have the words. Said watching all this, the cancellation, the sleeping bags, the way the family treated you, ripped something open. That's not because of me. No, it's not. Kevin told Colleen he'd been thinking about it since last summer. He said, and I'm quoting here, "I watched Denise treat her sister like an ATM for 15 years. When Gwen stopped, Denise didn't miss Gwen. She missed the money. That's when I knew who I married." My stomach turned. Not satisfaction, something heavier. "How's Denise taking it?" "Exactly how you'd expect. She called your mom screaming, said it's your fault." "Of course she did." My phone buzzed while I was still on the line with Colleen. "Denise. You destroyed my marriage. Are you happy now? My kids are crying." I typed back, "Your marriage is between you and Kevin. I'm not part of it." She didn't respond. 2 days later, Braden called me. He'd borrowed Kevin's phone. "Aunt Gwen, are you okay?" "I'm fine, buddy. Are you?" "Mom says you're the bad guy, but I don't think that's right." I sat down on the bottom stair. "Braden, I love your mom. I just can't carry everything anymore." He was quiet for a second. Then, "I looked up how much summer camp costs. That's a lot of money." 14 years old. Doing the math his mother never bothered to do. "Yeah, buddy, it is. Thanks for paying for it. Nobody ever said that, so thanks." I couldn't talk for a few seconds after that. Christmas Eve, our house, just the 4 of us. Marcus strung lights on the porch. Lily and Owen decorated the tree, ornaments clustered at the bottom 3 feet, bare branches above. Owen hung his favorite fire truck ornament upside down and refused to let anyone fix it. I made pot roast, not turkey, not 3 pies and a casserole for 12. Pot roast, mashed potatoes, rolls from the bakery on 5th Street, and a chocolate cake from a box because Lily asked, and box cake is her favorite. We ate at our table, 4 chairs, 4 plates, no folding stools. After dinner, the kids opened 1 gift each. Christmas Eve tradition. Marcus started when Lily was 2. Lily tore open the wrapping, a star nightlight. Same shape as the one in Mom's guest room, the one she loved. Marcus had found it online 2 weeks ago. She clutched it to her chest. "It's my star." "Merry Christmas, Lilybug," Marcus said. Owen got a stuffed dinosaur. He immediately tried to feed it chocolate cake. At 9 o'clock, both kids were asleep. Marcus and I sat on the couch with the tree lights blinking. Quiet. The good kind. My phone buzzed. Mom. "Merry Christmas, Guinevere." 4 words. No guilt, no ask, just 4 words. I stared at it for a long time, then typed, "Merry Christmas, Mom." Sent it. Set the phone down. Colleen had told me that Mom was alone this year. Denise went to Kevin's parents' house, Kevin's terms, part of the separation. Mom sat at her dining table with 6 chairs and 1 plate. I didn't feel victorious. I didn't feel vindicated. I felt sad. But it was a clean sadness, not the kind that eats you from the inside, the kind that means something real changed, and changing things always costs something. Lily slept in her bed that night, star nightlight glowing. January 4th, Mom's 65th birthday. On another timeline, today looked like this. The Ridgewood Country Club banquet room, round tables with ivory linens, gold centerpieces I'd picked out myself, 80 people, a 3-tier vanilla cake with buttercream and sugar peonies, a slideshow I'd spent 40 hours editing, 200 photos set to Van Morrison, ending on a picture of Mom and Dad on their wedding day. On this timeline, Mom sat in her kitchen. Colleen brought a store-bought carrot cake. Ruth showed up with a bouquet of grocery store daisies. 3 women at a table meant for 1. Ruth poured tea. "Have you talked to Gwen?" "She sent me a birthday text this morning." "Pat, I've known you since 1985. That girl has been your backbone. You need to fix this." "I don't know how." Colleen set down her fork. "Start by telling her you were wrong. Not that you're sorry it happened, that you were wrong." Mom looked out the window. Colleen told me later what she saw on Mom's face. Not stubbornness, not anger, but the slow realization of a woman surveying damage she caused and finally understanding the scale. The garage roof was sagging. Gwen used to hire the repair guy. The driveway hadn't been plowed. Gwen paid the snow service. The front porch light was out. Gwen replaced bulbs when she visited. Small things, invisible things, the kind of things that only become visible when the person doing them stops. Mom said, to no one in particular, I had 2 daughters. One of them held everything up, and I gave her a sleeping bag. Ruth and Colleen exchanged a look. That night, Mom sat alone. The carrot cake was barely touched, and somewhere in Columbus, her youngest daughter was putting a 6-year-old to bed in a house where nobody sleeps on the floor. I want to check in with you, because my mom is alone on her 65th birthday, and I know some of you are feeling for her right now, maybe thinking I went too far. But ask yourself this, would she have changed if I stayed? Would she have looked at Lily differently if I was still cooking her meals and writing her checks? Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for someone you love is let them feel the weight you've been carrying. Stay with me. End of January. I found it in the mailbox between a credit card offer and a water bill. A white envelope, hand-addressed, postmarked Ridgewood. My mother's handwriting. Slanted, shaky. The T's crossed too high, the way they always are. Not an email, not a text, a letter. On paper, through the mail. I sat on the porch and opened it. 2 pages, blue ink, smudged in places where she'd pressed too hard. I could see where she'd crossed things out and started over. Lines of words hidden under thick strokes. 4 or 5 false starts on the first page alone. She began with the sleeping bags. I knew it was wrong when I did it. I don't know why I did it anyway. That's the part I'm trying to figure out. She wrote about Denise. I've spent so many years trying to keep your sister close that I forgot to hold on to you. Denise would threaten to leave and I'd panic. You never threatened anything. And I took that as permission to put you last. She didn't blame anyone else. Didn't bring up Dad. Didn't ask for money. Near the end, I've been seeing a counselor. Ruth suggested it. Her name is Dr. Allison Pierce. It's only been 2 sessions, but she's already asking me questions I've spent 64 years avoiding. The last paragraph. I don't expect you to forgive me tomorrow, but I want you to know that for the first time, I'm not asking you to fix this. I'm trying to fix it myself. I read the letter 3 times, cried on the second read, laughed once on the third. She'd misspelled counselor as counselor and corrected it with a tiny arrow. Marcus found me on the porch. What does it say? She's trying. It's not perfect, but she's trying. I didn't call her back that night. I needed time, and for the first time, I let myself take it. 2 weeks after the letter, I texted Mom on a Tuesday evening. Lily wants to show you her new drawing. Are you free for a video call? Her reply came in 9 seconds. Yes, anytime. We called at 7 o'clock. Lily held the phone the way 6-year-olds do. Too close, half her face, the camera pointing at the ceiling every 3rd second. Grandma, look. She held up a drawing, crayon on printer paper, a house with 2 windows and a triangle roof, 5 stick figures standing in front, 1 tall with brown hair, me, 1 taller, Marcus, 2 small ones, her and Owen, and 1 with curly gray hair and a purple dress. That's you, Grandma. That's you next to me. Mom's voice through the phone came out fractured. Where am I standing, Lily? Next to me, because I want you next to me. Silence. Then a breath that sounded like it came from somewhere deep. I want that too, sweetheart. I want that too. They talked for 12 more minutes. Lily showed her the nightlight. Owen held up his dinosaur and roared into the camera. Mom laughed, a real laugh, rusty, but real. After the call, the screen went dark. I sat looking at it. Marcus, from the kitchen. Progress? Progress. Not a finish line, but progress. I want to be clear about something. I didn't restore the mortgage supplement, didn't reinstate the property tax payments. Those were gone, permanently. Those weren't gifts I'd been giving. They were crutches I'd been building, and crutches don't help someone learn to walk. But I opened a door, small, just a crack, enough to let light through, not enough to let the storm back in. This time, when I gave something, it was because I chose to, not because I had to. That's the difference between love and obligation. And it had taken me 38 years to learn it. Spring, 5 months after Thanksgiving. Mom sold the house, her decision. Colleen helped her find a 2-bedroom condo on the east side of Ridgewood. Smaller, newer, no sagging porch, no leaking roof. She used the equity to pay off the mortgage and put the rest in savings. For the first time in 30 years, Patricia Yoder was living within her own means. Denise got a full-time job, receptionist at a veterinary clinic in town, her first full-time position in 10 years. She and Kevin were in counseling. Not divorced, not reunited, somewhere in the uncertain middle where people figure out if they still recognize each other. Mom came to visit, her first time at our house since the confrontation. She drove 3 hours, just like always. But this time, she brought 2 things. A nightlight for Lily's room. Same shape as the star, different color. Blue this time. She'd picked it out herself. And a drawing, in a frame, Lily's drawing, the one with the 5 stick figures. She'd had it matted and framed in a thin oak border. "I put it next to my bed," she said. "I see it every morning." She walked through the door and saw Lily. And instead of looking at me first, instead of scanning the kitchen to see what needed doing, she crouched down, arms open, and waited. Lily ran to her, full speed, no hesitation, no checking the window first. My mother is not a different person. She's the same woman, stubborn, proud, difficult. She still talks too much about Denise. She still forgets to ask about Marcus. She still says Guinevere when she's frustrated. But she's learning, in her own slow, imperfect, 65-year-old way. She's learning, and I think that's more than I ever dared to hope for. A month later, a package arrived. Small padded envelope, return address, Denise Caldwell, Ridgewood, Ohio. No card, just a scrap of notebook paper folded twice and something wrapped in tissue at the bottom. The note in Denise's handwriting, messy, all lowercase, like she'd written it fast before she could change her mind. "This should have been yours. I knew it then. I'm sorry it took me this long." I peeled the tissue back. Grandma Irene's ruby ring, Victorian setting, hand-cut stone. 3 generations of Yoder women had worn this ring to Sunday services. I held it up to the window. The stone caught the light and threw a red dot on the wall. Then I walked to the shelf in the bedroom, picked up the brown leather box, brass hinge, velvet lining. The box I'd kept for 8 years as a monument to everything I wasn't given. I set the ring inside, closed the lid. The hinge clicked, a small, certain sound. The box wasn't empty anymore. I texted Denise. "Thank you. This means more than you know." Her reply took an hour. "I know exactly how much it means. That's why I'm giving it back." My sister and I are not best friends. We may never be. There are too many years of scar tissue, too many unspoken debts, too many versions of, "You're overreacting, it's always about you," stacked between us like bricks. But for the first time in 42 and 38 years, we're honest. She sent the ring without excuses. I accepted it without conditions. Honesty, even if it's all we ever manage, is a place to start. Marcus saw the box on the nightstand that evening, ring inside, lid closed. "Full circle," he said. "Full box." He smiled, kissed my forehead, turned off the lamp. 9:30 on a Tuesday night. Nothing special about it, just a Tuesday. I walked down the hall to check on the kids the way I do every night. Owen first, sprawled sideways across his bed, 1 foot hanging off the edge, dinosaur tucked under his chin. I pulled the blanket up. He didn't stir. Then Lily's room. I pushed the door open. The star nightlight glowed from the outlet beside her bed, throwing pale gold shapes across the ceiling. She was lying on her back, hair fanned out on the pillow, covers pulled up to her chin. Asleep in a bed in her room, in her home. "Mommy?" Her eyes opened halfway, the way they do when she's between dreaming and waking. "Go back to sleep, baby." "Mommy?" "Yeah?" "I like sleeping in a bed." I knelt beside her, smoothed her hair. "Me too, baby. Me too." She closed her eyes and was gone again in seconds. I stayed there for a minute, kneeling on the carpet, listening to her breathe. 5 months ago, this child knelt on a hardwood floor in her grandmother's living room, trying to unroll a sleeping bag that kept sliding out from under her. She asked me if we were camping. I left that house at 11 o'clock on a November night with 2 sleeping children and a husband who never once said, "I told you so." I left a version of myself who believed that love meant kneeling. I left the woman who kept an empty box on a shelf and called it enough. I left her on that cold floor. And I walked out the door with the only people I needed, two small hands in mine, and a man who loved me without conditions. If you're out there, the one who always pays, always shows up, and never gets seen, I want you to know something. You are allowed to stop. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to have a bed. That's my story. And if even one part of it felt familiar, if you've ever been the one holding everything together while everyone else held you last, I see you. I truly do. Which part hit hardest? The sleeping bags, the empty box, or the 98 missed calls? Drop your answer in the comments. And if this story made you feel something real, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. There's another story in the description I think you'll love just as much. Thank you for staying until the end. I'll see you in the next one.